All right, perfect. So this is now being recorded, and then yeah, everything is recorded, and if you click on, will be presented. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Micah, just to put you on the spot, is there anything that you would like to hear from me? I was going to touch on Google Scholar briefly because it's useful when you have nothing else. And I was going to touch on Fastcase, which is available to all attorneys who are members of the Arizona State Bar. But again, it's a very limited product. You know, they want to lure you in and then have you pay more for the you know, the tools that you really need to be completely effective as a researcher. Does that sound good, Micah? And I'm you know, I don't know if you know anything about me. I spent the early part of my career litigating in California and here in Arizona, and then worked for the federal court for about 22 years. And all I did was research and writing for a long time. Now I'm temporarily retired, and I will be opening my own law firm come January. So hopefully I'll employ a bunch of you guys because it's going to be so successful. But if you want to hear something other than research, if you think I might be able to give you some input or ideas on anything else, go ahead and put it on the screen or chime on in. You know, there are just a few of us here, so feel comfortable jumping in, and Charlie's monitoring the chat for me, which is nice. Just chime in or type in, and we'll go from there. But I'll start with Google Scholar. You guys have probably looked at it. I've looked at it and thought, well, it's better than nothing, right? If you have nothing, you know, if you don't have access to Lexis or Westlaw, you know, go to Google Scholar. The other option that I'm going to touch on tonight is Fastcase, which you know, like Westlaw or Lexis, you can do a lot of things with it, and it's available through the Arizona Bar to all bar members. So if you're working for a lawyer, that lawyer may or may not know that they have access to Fastcase. But again, Fastcase, at least the subscription that you get through the State Bar is pretty limited as well. Anyway, let's look at Google Scholar. If you've never looked at it before, you can search for articles and case law, as you can see here. The articles include a lot of legal articles and a lot of law review articles. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you know, you can just do your typical you know, Google search up top here, and you know, let's see. I haven't done this in advance, so let's see what happens. And I don't use this very much. Yeah, so you know, this is a Google Scholar result, and this was you know, I had the articles button checked there. So these are all articles about hostile work environment. Now, obviously, you can put in whatever you want up there in the search bar, just like in Google. But let's look at some of these results and see. You know, it's a Journal of Applied Psychology, Hein Online. So that's legal. That's associated with legal. I think that's Georgetown Law Journal. So the phenomenon of workplace bullying and the need for status blind hostile work environment protection. So you know, you can get articles on Google Scholar. The search isn't as efficient as it could be or is on Westlaw. You know, your database, narrowing down your databases. See, you have some filters, but what their dates, and you can have a custom date range. Sort by relevance or sort by date. You know, so if you want the newest thing, you can click sort by date. So you've got hold your nose and harness these men, sexual vulnerability in a hyper-masculine organization, a barrier or a resource. And this one is journals, I don't know, Sage Pub. So, you know, it's you know, this stuff is, there's a lot of stuff out there, but you're going to need to look at the sources. So rather than going in and picking a source and then doing a search as you would typically do on Westlaw or Lexis, it kind of does it backwards. And you've got to remember, you've always got to look at where your information is coming from. It's got to be a reliable source. And sometimes it's hard to determine that. The good thing about Westlaw, most of that is stuff we've heard of that we know is reliable. You know, not everything probably, but you know, the things I come across and use are. But so you know, you can do a search that way for articles. So that's, you know, a secondary source. You can also look for primary sources, cases, and you can do the same thing. You can enter a citation, just like you can on Westlaw or Lexis or Fastcase or anything, and come up with a case. Or you can do a term search, not a Boolean search. There are field limiters here. I don't know them all. One of them's you can search the title. You preface it with all in title, colon, and so if you know something that's in the title of, say, a journal, something like that, you can find it. Or it will be the name of the case if you use it on cases. So if you know a name of a case, let's see, I think it's all in title. Let me try it here. Oh, right. Yeah, so I said all in title Miranda there, and then because it brings up the results at, you know, sorting them by relevance. The most relevant case is Miranda v. Arizona, because it's the most cited Miranda case out there, for sure, right? Maybe Miranda v. Castro is second, Hicks versus Miranda, all these other ones. But I think we all know that in all likelihood, Miranda v. Arizona is the most cited Miranda case. So you can find a case by you know, if you know the case name. A cool thing that I shouldn't be telling you, if you're in need of citation help, you can come on here and look up the case, and you see these quotation marks. You just click those, and there is the Blue Book form. This isn't the Blue Book form, so you better be careful. They claim this is the Blue Book form, but if you are in my class, you know that the Blue Book no longer requires that you cite the Supreme Court Reporter or the Lawyer's Edition if the case is available in the United States Reporter. However, if this is a federal case, let's look at Miranda v. Castro. Let me go back. Miranda v. Castro, and go for the site. Let's see what it comes up with. Now there's a pretty site, right? Miranda v. Castro, comma 292 F 3rd 1063, open print, 9th Circuit, 2002, close print, period. Perfect citation. So you need to know a little bit, I guess. Don't rely on Google, even though they claim it's Blue Book. It looks like it would be fine for circuit court cases. We'd have to look at Arizona, maybe look at an Arizona case. But that's a little secret. And you can also save the cases. If you log in with your Google password, then you can save cases if you're doing some research. You know, I've used this when I'm, you know, don't have access to Lexis or Westlaw, you know, and somebody wants some, you know, hey, is there a case on that? Sure, you can do it. There are a lot of, yeah, they've got all the cases pretty much out there. I think it's all the Supreme Court cases and federal cases from 1950, and I don't know what the coverage is for state cases. So it's not everything, but you know, how often are you citing a pre-1950 federal case? You know, there certainly are cases out there that people are still citing, but probably getting fewer every day. All right, so let's do something else. Let's try hostile work environment. Or now we're searching cases, and so again, it brings up the most relevant case. And those of you who might take in employment law or are familiar with it, you'll immediately recognize Harris versus Forklift Systems as a seminal Supreme Court case. Again, you can pick up the citation. It looks like they do the old-fashioned Blue Book citation. You can save it. And then what else can you do here? You can select the courts. So you've got all these results. So you've got 31,000 results. Well, we're in the Ninth Circuit. Let's say we're interested just the Ninth Circuit stuff. You could scroll through. Here's a Second Circuit case. Scrolling down, here's another Second Circuit case. But Google does allow you to select the courts. This kind of looks like the Westlaw pop-up for selecting jurisdictions, and then you can clear all the federal, and then just click what you want. Let's just say we just want District of Arizona stuff. You can do that, and then come up top, click done, and you can see we've got just District of Arizona cases now. So that's cool. That's useful. Some other filters, date. There aren't the number of filters that you have on Westlaw, but you can switch from relevance to chronological order. So you've got the most recent case up here, 19 days ago there. You can create alerts. You can do that on Westlaw as well. If you want to create an alert based on search, you can do that. And then Google will tell you when any new case comes up that it's responsive to your search. That's particularly helpful if, let's say, you've got an appeal pending. Well, you want to know all the cases that are coming down on that. If you're working on an article or a law review note, something like that, or a research paper for one of your classes, you might want to create an alert so that that those cases are automatically sent to you, so you can review them and be aware if there are any changes in the law. Even right on the eve of you turning your paper in or going to make an oral argument or whatever the case may be. So that's about all I know about Google Scholar. There's some helpful stuff there, and if you have nothing else, it certainly is better than nothing. For a long time, people didn't have access to any of these cases. Think about pre-Google Scholar. Even then, if you didn't have a subscription to one of the big services, Westlaw or Alexis or whatever, you had to go to the law library. Here, you can sit at the comfort of your desk and get some cases. So, any questions about that? I don't proclaim to be an expert on Google Scholar, but it's certainly nice that people have access to it. That's the whole basis of American law, is that we should all know this, and it should all be accessible. I've always felt that dockets should be accessible. You should be able to click on any court, any case, any document, because the technology is there, and there's no reason that doesn't exist. And that's our court system is based on that. It's public. It's not private. It's not secret. That's one of the beauties of it. It's like, well, if you don't want to air your dirty laundry, then you guys better go work this out, right? So I think that that it's a very good system, far from perfect, but as I always say, show me a better one. Okay, any questions about Google Scholar? Not that I could answer them, but take them.
Not a question, but the alert option is really helpful. Yeah. So if you're working on something, you can create an alert with that search, and so Google will send it right to your inbox, and you'll be on top of any change that might have occurred, or just getting something that's consistent. That makes you feel good about things too. Oh, this new case, they're applying the law exactly as I understand it. So it just can confirm what you already know, which is a nice thing. So definitely a good thing.
And remember, you can do that on Westlaw and Lexis, of course. So how about Fastcase? Let's see.
Micah tried in and said that she's never used Fastcase, so she could try it.
Yeah, I've never used it either, or not used it much. But I could see doing it in the future because I won't have access all the time. You know, like I'll have Westlaw associated to teaching sometimes, but you know, in the summers or whatever. So, you know, certainly, again, it's better than nothing. Now, Fastcase is closer to Westlaw than Google Scholar is, but you don't have with the subscription you get for free, you don't get all those all the features. Get in here. So if you're working for a lawyer, just get their Arizona bar password, and you can see right here the quick links section over here. One of the links is Fastcase. Unlike Fastcase is more like Westlaw in the sense that you can see here, you can type a keyword, a natural language, a citation, and it recognizes Boolean searching as well. So the same techniques that you use on Westlaw, you could use here. You can look at these libraries here, and you'll see they're broken down into primary material and secondary material. So you can see already it's, in my estimation, it's better than Google Scholar. But most of this over here is not in the plan that they give you for free. So what is all the primary stuff is there. So you can search, you can click on any of that and search any of these databases just like you would on Westlaw. You can see if you're in my legal research class, I say whenever you are on that landing page, that home page in Westlaw, you always go to this box first. You're always thinking what jurisdiction, unless you have a citation, right? You're thinking jurisdiction. And Fastcase is just like Westlaw in that regard. You get this pop-up menu, and you can see it says all states. Let's say we just want to search Arizona. Save and continue, and let's say we are searching for spousal maintenance. And let's see, I haven't tried this. Let's see what comes up. Can this spell something? Seems like something should come up. I'll break it down to spousal maintenance. Oh, I know what I did. Did I get our jurisdiction set? Save and continue, right? Oh, now it came up. Okay, so my search was spousal maintenance, and yeah, here are the results. See, it's bringing up. I had primary and secondary sources clicked. So out of everything, then you can just click the cases box if you just want the cases, and there are the cases. The thing about Google Scholar and Fastcase is they don't have the citator that Westlaw and Lexis have in terms of KeyCite and Shepard's, which is crucial. So if you're ever filing something with the court, you don't want to rely on this and not check Keysight or Westlaw, because you're asking for trouble, right? You know that you go into court and it's Murphy's Law. It's going to be that case will have been recently criticized or distinguished, or something will have happened to it, and then you'll get called on the carpet. You won't know it because you didn't run it through Keysight or Westlaw.
We have fast case in Georgia. They did have the shepherds.
Do they? And I'm glad you brought that up, because in this version they don't, and there's probably a plan where you can get it where it does happen. So yeah, it's crucial, right? It's crucial. So it's good for researching stuff, but you better be sure that your case is still good law, your statute's still good. You want to know if it's been criticized, distinguished, certainly reversed or overruled, all of those things. So let's see here. Let's see.
So they have symbols up there. Are you sure they don't have it with the flags on there? They don't have it in their version?
Yeah, let me see here. And like I say, I haven't used it a lot, so I think you might be right. Let's see what it says. Oh, you know what it is? There it is. Negative treatment. There you go. I thought that they just showed cases that cited this case, but it looks like you're right. So good. Fast case is more useful than Google Scholar. Thanks for pointing that out. Like I say, I've not used this one. Now I probably will use it a little more, now that I know that this feature is included. Another cool thing about it is this timeline feature, which is kind of crazy. You see what this is? This is a graphic of all your search results. So what is it telling you? You can see the bottom is the years. You can see the years. So it's the year. Each one of these circles represents one of those decisions in your result list. And the bigger it is, the more relevant it is. And then the further to the right, the more recent it is. I think the blue inner circle means that it's in turn been cited, how much it's been cited by other cases. So, you can see, if it's got a big outer circle, that's the relevance. And then the other is how many times it's been cited. So you can see this one's been cited quite a lot, but it helps you choose which cases you might want to read. Otherwise it's, a list and you're kind of wandering through it. It's just a more efficient way and a visual way to, graphic way to see, what cases like this. So Gutierrez versus Gutierrez is way up here near 100 in terms of relevance to my search. So we click on that, and it's a spousal maintenance case from 1999. So you can see this is 1999. Maybe maybe we want to go further to the right with the newer stuff, but you can evaluate it that way. And I think that's a cool feature. There's the authorities. I thought they just had an authority list, but I've been corrected there. So that's wonderful. Makes it quite a bit more useful in my estimation. Just seeing cases that have cited your case and then evaluating them. Oftentimes, if you're working in Arizona, maybe the issue hasn't been addressed that much, but then you find that seminal case and there'll maybe be 8 or 10 cases that have cited it. You may read them all if you're if they're all discussing that issue that you're interested in. So, whether there's negative treatment or not, if you're really going in depth on an issue, you want to check out pretty much all the cases a lot of times, assuming there are thousands of them.
You may want to explain to them what a seminal case is.
What?
What a seminal case is.
Seminal case, the one that kind of set the standard. We're talking about like Miranda versus Arizona. We all know our Miranda rights. Well, if a court's writing about Miranda rights nowadays, they may cite Miranda once, but it's been so refined over the years, So you've got Miranda, but you really need to read all those other cases and find the one that's really factually similar to yours. So it's important to know what that beginning case was, the most important case, whether it be criminal, civil, whatever it is. There's oftentimes that one case that's kind of central, and then all the cases that follow will discuss. They'll say, and then the further you get down the road, now people, when I was working at federal court, you might cite, as I say, cite Miranda briefly, but then you would get into the Ninth Circuit cases that have applied Miranda in these different ways. And if you're researching a specific fact situation, you're obviously looking for a case that's, as close factually to your situation as possible. So you want to cite Miranda and then cite, Jones versus Smith, which came out 2 years ago, but is, very, very similar to the factual situation that you're researching. So, that's an overview. I learned a lot right now, so I'm glad I came.
I had used it. So that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it seems like it is available through a lot of state bars. I don't know why that is. Maybe they do it free or for a super discount or something. Yeah, because the moment you click on something and it says not in the plan, then you start thinking, well, I've been using Fastcase. I know how to use Fastcase, the free version. So I'll just get I'll expand my subscription rather than going to Westlaw or going to Lexis. And now that I see this feature, I'll be using it. I like it. And I love that visual thing. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but they're like, oh, I can see that. I want to see that. I want to go look at this case with the big circle, So, that's about all. Hey, that was about half an hour.
Perfect.
But if you have questions about this or anything else.
Not necessarily a question, but I do want to say for anyone who has taken your class or is currently in your class, and for those online that have not taken legal research, maybe they took it with another instructor. The things I learned last semester, I know I emailed you this too, but I use them every day at my internship.
So
Invaluable information, truly.
good to hear.
So everyone online better, there's 2 online better pay attention.
Yeah, and in my class, I try to make it focus on the things that you're really using and the practical things. And I want you to be conversant. I want you to be able to go into a law firm and understand when somebody, what happens day to day. It's not go do in-depth research on pending legislation usually. And if that does happen, I want you to be able to do that. But none of us, unless we're working in that field constantly, have that hardwired. But things that should be hardwired are case citations, ways to find cases, your approaches to statutes and cases, and like say citations for Arizona cases and Ninth Circuit cases. You should be able to look at citation and discern a lot of information from it. Where the case is from, what year it is. You're evaluating all those things even before you've read the case. What's the least important thing about a case citation? Probably the name of the case. But that can be important too. Like I was working in Social Security, and you know what the Social Security cases are because the defendant's always the commissioner of Social Security, and if you know their name, you're like, oh, that's a Social Security case. That's a Social Security case. And there are all these things that you should, these basic things that you should know and should be natural and should be automatic with you. And those are the things that we kind of focus on. And I hope everybody takes away from my class because I repeat. I try to repeat the important things until people are just so tired of it that they'll never forget it. Right? So yeah, that's good to hear.
And I think it's also just your general excitement on the topic. You make it exciting.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of fun. Right, because 99% of what you do is on that one sheet, that sample sheet that I hand out. That's it. How often are you going to cite, a book? Every once in a while, I guess. How do I cite Black's Law Dictionary or something like that? You might once in a while. cases. Over and over.
He said that very great because we look, my class, I bring the blue book with them.
Mhm.
And I'm like, great. Don't look at that. So,
Yeah.
nobody's important.
And don't underestimate the importance of the blue book. You know, especially if you get into more legal writing. You know, I've been around people that can navigate that thing, and there are important things that we don't get into as much as I would like to, like signals. And I'm always having students trying to get them to notice those signals. You know, why does it say C? Why does it say C, comma, EG, comma, and then the citation? See also all these different signals. They're telling you a little bit more. And then you can use parentheticals with cases. So you can just develop your writing style and your effectiveness. You know, you can say, oh, this case is, you know, kind of important, but I don't want to go on for pages about it. Do a little parenthetical about it, you know, and maybe you do a string cite, you know, all these different things. But the way you really learn that is by reading cases and paying attention to what the courts, you know, generally speaking, you know, the courts, those are they're good writers. So that those are good examples of, you know, how to use authority, different ways you can use authority, you know, standalone citation sentences or in your sentences, and you know, and then there's a flow to it as well that you can develop just by reading those cases. So, and I'm like a very basic A to B to C writer. Some of the people that have been in my classes are tremendous writers, and that's very effective. I wish I was. I sent around a decision recently that was, or no, it was an amicus brief filed by The Onion. I don't know if you saw that. If you didn't see that, you need to look it up. That was a beautiful piece of writing. It was an amicus brief in a case where a guy was prosecuted for making fun of the police online. Just great writing stuff. So that's about all I've got, unless you have any other issues you want to talk about.
No, Micah just said it's glad to learn something cool students.
Great. Yeah. And me too.
Yeah. And I have let's see. Oh, also my office has their own separate researchers. So I figure it's best to stay up on it or lose it. Yeah. But skill, you know how to research, definitely a skill to sharp.
Yeah, and it's something that you know, a lot of law offices, there's very little legal research done. You know, if you're doing the same things day in, day out, you don't have it. You don't have that use frequently. So it's hard to keep those skills sharp. You know, I was fortunate that I've done it for so long, had free access to Westlaw Unlimited, that I could just, you know, go. I'll never forget. You know, Westlaw changes every week, but only incrementally. But they've got Westlaw Next, Westlaw Edge, Westlaw Classic, Westlaw this and that, and the other thing. You know, and they're moving toward natural language searches being effective. They're claiming. I'm still not a believer. If you hone your skills, your Boolean searching skills, I think you're always going to be more effective than somebody that's using a natural language search. Now, if you are two people that are coming at it and don't know anything about it, maybe that natural language search is a better place to start. But I think once you become familiar with an area of the law and you know the jargon, and you know you could put together a good Boolean search, I would do that. I would take that any day, because I can find cases that are factually similar, you know, that you really pinpoint and get what you want. Once you get used to that sort of thinking, and you should always be thinking, how would the court write about this? And of course, you need to know the words they would use, but you also need to think about how it would be put together. You know, think about how close words would be to one another. Well, how, you know, if you're looking for a factual situation, well, the facts are always separate from the law, so you're not going to put a relational limitation on certain terms, because you're going to miss results. You're going to think, let's group the facts together and let's group the law, you know, the words that are associated with the facts and the words that are associated with the law. You know, those might be two different groups in your search. So it's constant refinement and fun. It's kind of a word. All right.
Yeah, Any other last minute questions? Comments?
I'm gonna go root for the Yankees then. Are
Well,
you?
thank you so
We're tired of
much.
Puerto Rican. I think so.
That's right. That's right. You're right.
I'm gonna go ahead and close out the online meeting. Thank you for those for joining online.
Thank you, everybody.